Welcome to Helping Hands with your hosts, John Neiman and Judy Ritchie.
Hello and welcome to Helping Hands. This is our opportunity to let you in the community know how you can lend a helping hand to a program, an agency, somewhere in need. I'm Judy Ritchie, Community Advocate.
I'm John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center, and welcome to our April edition of Helping Hands. Spring is here, a wonderful time to celebrate all the new things going on. We also want to take this time to thank those who support our show. So Aurora Healthcare, who is our sponsor of our show, and then Harnix Flowers and Gifts on 9th Street, who do the wonderful decor for us to get us in the mood for everything that's going on. Where can you see us? Where can you hear us? You can see us on Life TV 2. You can hear us on 101.9 FM. And if you want to know the schedule, the lineup for our show, or any other of the wonderful shows, go to oshkoshmedia.org and look for Life TV, and it'll give you the schedule of all the shows that they have, which really is a great way to begin or to end your day. Judy, let's talk about our guests today.
I will, but I'll try not to butcher her name. And I'm going to just say this is Molly, and she'll complete the name properly, who is the new Foundation Development Director or Coordinator with the Aurora Foundation. And we know her from so many different places in the community, from the Senior Center, from the Y, from her column in the newspaper, to all the presentations that she's done in the community. So it's an old friend in a new position.
Exactly.
So welcome, Molly.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now let's get your name out of the way, Molly, because
Yes.
I know you will answer to anything like we will.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
what is the proper pronunciation?
So it's Molly Yatso-Butz.
Molly Yatso-Butz.
Yes, I'm the new Foundation Development Coordinator with Aurora. It's been since November. So I always say that it was kind of like the longest transition in the history of job transitions, because I was still trying to complete all of my work at the Y and begin my new job at Aurora and do the Festival Foods Turkey Trot in the month of November. And so it just ended up being a very long November. So probably December was more of my start date. But yeah, it's been a great couple months. I've really enjoyed being at Aurora. I also oversee the foundation for Green Bay and the Fond du Lac markets as well. So I'm considered our North Region foundation person. So that covers all three markets. And so as John knows, I'm on the road a lot and traveling back and forth. I think another thing that people don't realize is that the president of our department, or the president and vice president of the Aurora Healthcare Foundation, are actually in Milwaukee. So I report to Milwaukee, and then I have support, administrative support in Grafton. So I get to travel to Grafton, Sussex, and Milwaukee as well. So it's just been a really great learning curve, and I was ready, and hopefully Aurora was ready
Yes,
too, right?
And they're so, and we were talking earlier too, our wonderful volunteers just are so excited. We're so excited to have Molly come because they've worked with her at the Senior Center, or they know her from the Y and the classes they take at the Y. So it's all been very welcoming. And I wanted to ask you again about your relationship, because it is a perfect fit between the Y and Aurora.
Yes.
It's like it was meant to be.
It was great. In fact, I still am working for the Y. So, for instance, tonight, I will be teaching at Aurora on behalf of the Y for the bariatric exercise class.
Oh.
So the physicians and administration at Aurora had come to me about a little over a year ago, actually, when I was still full-time at the Y, and they had asked me to put together a program for patients at Aurora who are receiving care for obesity, those who are preparing for bariatric surgery, or in that realm of care. And so we put together a class, and so I still teach it, again, on behalf of the Y, but for Aurora patients. And again, so that happens every Tuesday night from 6 to 7, and we walk around the hospital, and sometimes it's their first introduction to exercise. So it's been really fun to see. We put together a really neat video on behalf of the Y and Aurora right before I made the transition, just to show what a great partnership those two organizations have. And, that was one of those things that I wasn't quite ready to give up. And so both organizations said, absolutely, let's keep it going. So,
Is there anything you don't do?
Uh,
I didn't even know that about you. So
Yeah.
you do a lot, but I think all of that engages the people, the
Yes.
caregivers, the patients, the visitors, because they see that you are out and about and you have a
Yes.
wonderful personality, which is what
Thank
a
you.
foundation person needs to have to do the job that they have to do.
Yeah, thank you. So it's fun. I get to walk around the hospital at night, like we just talked about, and see a lot of people that we don't see during the day. So tonight we'll be walking the halls.
Well, and to do that, walking the halls, they get the walking obviously is one of the best exercises we can all do.
Yes.
And then along with that, they're getting to be more familiar with the clinic side, the hospital side,
Absolutely.
and doing it with someone else. They've got a partner. Where walking alone can be kind of, I'm getting tired, so I'll stop.
Absolutely.
And it keeps them going.
And like I said, for a lot of these people, it is their first introduction to exercise. And then it's fun now because we see how far we can go each week. And, we talk about when they first started. Do you remember when you first started and we could only go up and down this small hallway, and now we're taking laps around the hospital. So yeah, it's fun. So it's a great, again, and we wave to everybody and walk in and family practice, and they just know we're coming around, so we get the wave. But it's great. I think so many nonprofits and organizations want to work together, and right there shows the Y and Aurora and how we both are trying to accomplish a mission that is very similar, to make everybody well, and so work together, and so it's a great fit. It's a great
Do you
fit.
remember years ago the buzzword was collaboration?
Yes.
That was the buzzword in our community and everything, and now it's just it's a given.
It's still the buzzword, but it is. And I know from when I first started with Meals on Wheels in the 80s to when I retired a couple of years ago, the difference, everything seemed to be territorial back when, and as time went on, it was more of the sharing and the referrals back and forth, and and funders, that was the big thing too, funders not replicating anything that was going on with another agency. And what are you doing to collaborate with?
Absolutely.
So this is where our strengths are. We'll do this. This is where your strengths are. You do that. Together we make big things happen.
Absolutely.
And it's just natural these days. I think it is when you see all the agencies. So collaboration, let's talk before we get into the foundation stuff. Let's talk about your newspaper column.
Okay.
Because you are just like famous.
Yeah, so Healthy Oshkosh was started, this was interesting. So Tom Blaze is the CEO of the Y here in town, and he has been a mentor to me since he and I met when I worked at the senior center in Leadership Oshkosh. So we were the class of 2004, and Tom and I talked about everything, and it wasn't until 2012 that I actually started working for him at the Y. But one of the things that he and I always talked about was that I was in addition to being an exercise physiologist, I was also a journalism student, and so I had this passion for writing. And so one of the goals he gave me when I started at the Y was, he said, I think that you should have your own health column. He's like, I know ever since I've met you that it has always been something that you've wanted to do, which he was right. It was something that I talked with him about. And so he put it on my goal sheet for 2012, and at the time it was Jim Fitzhenry at the Northwestern, and so I reached out to Jim and I just said, hey, what do you think? And they said absolutely, and so now I think it's been 5 or 6 years, which is to keep coming up with the topics and everything is so I will say that there are times where I have to go back and recycle just because my weeks get busy. So like today I had an article due at noon, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So but I do try to keep up with what's going on. The nice thing about my job at Aurora is that because the market that I'm in charge of is Green Bay, Appleton, and Oshkosh. So Gannett has pushed all of my stuff to Green Bay. So now I'm covering Green Bay Press Gazette, Appleton, Oshkosh, and then also because of our Aurora ties in Milwaukee, we're also in the Journal Sentinel. So when it's specific to Aurora, like when I interview our docs and things like that, they do put that in the Journal Sentinel, and then same with if it's relevant. So that's been great. And I think the more we can get information out about all the things that we talk about in those articles, I love doing the research myself because I always learn new things, and I love talking with our caregivers about what they do, and I've just been learning so much. So.
And I think the thing about them too, it's like I refer to yours kind of like the Master Gardeners with Lawanda, who has an article in.
Yes.
It's local. It's somebody that you know talking about local stuff. It's not like you opening it up and it's the USA Today person talking or someone. And I think that's why it's so relatable. And it's like
it's the person that we can see in the grocery store or go to a movie, and there she is.
And she's giving you all the information. It's like, and like the volunteers will say, "Did you read that?" Like somebody was referencing something you said in an article, and they said, "Well, that girl, she wrote it for Aurora. It's right in the paper." And I'm searching through the entire paper, and then they finally said Molly, and then I knew where to find. I knew where to find it. But people are gathering information, especially when you give the statistics and all of that stuff going on. So that's really great.
And actually, I had a meeting this morning. I was telling you, John, in our offices that I had a patient who is going through cancer, and they wanted to meet with me this morning, and so I met them off site and we were talking, and one of the things that they said is people like when they know their money is staying local, and they like to hear local stories. And so being the foundation person, when people send money to Aurora Cancer Care, they want to know that it's staying in Oshkosh. So what was I doing locally to support, this particular family? And so we discussed that, and one of their suggestions to me was, please just keep telling local stories. They're like, we love when you tell stories about things that are happening right here, so we know our money is staying in Oshkosh and it's doing great things. And I think the SANE program at Aurora is one of those that, because it's so phenomenal and it's a leader in our Aurora region. This is just, if you ever get a chance to talk to these nurses or these caregivers at Aurora about the work that they do, it's just unbelievable. And so I think that when you're looking for ways to give, and you can give to a woman who has been sexually assaulted or raped and receives the care that we give them at Aurora 24/7. These caregivers are on call, and the foundation supports those salaries and wages or clothes to the women can wear when they leave the hospital. And when we talk about local care and local stories, that's what we're talking about.
And Brenda came out to the Altrusa meeting last year, and from that there was a cash donation.
Perfect.
But we've had a number of individuals who I know have brought in tops with the tags hanging, because you want all new clothes. These people who have been assaulted, their clothes are taken as evidence.
Yes.
So they're
cut
in
off of them.
Absolutely,
because they have to be,
and they have nothing to go home in, and they may not call someone to get them because they're so ashamed.
Yes.
And those nurses in that unit are so compassionate, so caring, that they just really, not necessarily ease, but they comfort and make the transition back to the community so much. I don't even know what word I'm
more
grasping
comfortable
for.
or just that program. I have to say I knew about before I came to it, but every time I talk to the caregivers and in that, it's phenomenal. If everyone could know, and then again, it makes you want to give to something that you know
Right.
is staying
Right.
local and is helping people. And like, and this is Dr. I was just sharing this as Dr. Newman, and my goal for 2018 is allowing all of our Aurora employees to understand that giving can be fun and it can be easy. And we're not, I'm not out to ask people for thousands of dollars. Like you said, if you have a shirt hanging in your closet that you've never worn, bring it in, and that's giving.
Right,
And it feels so good.
And they take toys for the kids, because you're forgetting
Yes.
about, most of the time that we've seen that, because the chaplains are called in sometimes too,
Yes.
is that you see the woman has no choice but to bring her kids
Yes.
along with you. And now we are getting short of time. We
Oh.
want to go to the slides that we can still talk about. If we could go back to that Live Well slide, because I want you to be able to get in your information that you had. There it is. They're very good at doing this for us.
Yeah, so the Aurora Healthcare Foundation has many ways for people to give. And like I said, if you come, find me at Aurora in Oshkosh, or you send me something specifically to my office, it stays in our community. So I make sure that that money stays in Oshkosh. Right now I'm doing a big fundraiser for our Patient Experience Fund that you'll get more information on. We just finished the early pregnancy loss fundraiser, so we're keeping everything right here in Oshkosh. There's different ways that you can go about giving, so that's up there as well. And then we do have events also that you can participate in. So we always have our Live Well event, which happens in October. That has supported SANE in the past. This year it's going to support emergency preparedness, I believe. We will take any type of donation for the sexual assault nurse examiner program at any time. Like I said, clothing, money, whatever you feel would best support those women. And then we also have a large donor base for our cancer care. So cancer care is obviously, unfortunately, a huge part of what we do. So we have our cancer.
You just said it.
Yeah.
And they put it on the screen for you, Molly.
Our cancer care walk is actually going to be called the Mindful Try this year. It's going to focus on the new integrative medicine piece of Aurora that we're working into our cancer care, and why the research that they're doing at our hospitals in Milwaukee that are showing that integrative medicine just plays a huge role in cancer care. So for instance, if you are a cancer survivor and you're a patient at Aurora, you get free massages for the rest of your life. Who knew that? So, I mean, there's just so many things that I didn't know. And again, the foundation can support that, so we can help pay those salaries and help pay for cancer survivors to receive that care and just that special touch and those appointments forever. And so those are things that I can help with. We can keep local, and we can keep people healthy and well. So
You went through that
yes.
really well, like you've done this before.
I know, right? It's been a while. But
Oh, well, we're almost out of time, but we're very
Sure.
appreciative of having you here as a guest. And again, if you need more information, Molly's contact information was on the screen. We're so glad that she's with us, with Aurora. Again, it's right on the screen right now.
Yeah.
You can either email her or call her or stop by and see if she's in. She's right on the first floor across from our player piano. So thank you, Molly, for being with us for our first segment. Stay tuned, and we'll be back for our second segment of our April edition of Helping Hands.
Thank you.
It's not a charity, it's more than a charity. It's about helping people we live with. It's about being the type of person that the 6-year-old version of ourselves wanted us to be. It's about community and looking out for one another. It's about money, yes, but it's so much more than money. It's about friendship and common values. It's about opening doors when others are slammed shut. It's about giving kids a place to be kids and growing up knowing they live in a community that cares about them. It's about making sure that everyone gets to see the dentist, because we want to make sure that they have every last tooth in those smiles. Ultimately, that's it. It's about the smiles, old smiles and new smiles. It's about us, all of us, our community living united, because great things happen when we live united. Will you join us?
Welcome back to our April edition of Helping Hands. This is the part of the show where we like to talk about what's going on in the community, sharing information with you. The big thing that we're going to talk about is National Volunteer Recognition Week.
And that has been established for many, many years, and it's always the third week, yes, in April. And it's our opportunity as organizations to recognize our volunteers in a more formal way. I know that all my years with Meals on Wheels, I was thanking my volunteers every day when they were doing their daily rounds. You, I know, are very good at thanking people all the time, and be it verbally, notes, whatever. And sometimes it's those surprise little treats otherwise. And really, most people aren't looking for the certificates, all these grandiose type things. But as organizations, we feel like we need to do it. Mm-hmm. And not all are grandiose. The awards or the recognition you do at Aurora annually compared to what I did with Meals on Wheels is grandiose. But you've got a really neat program in mind this year.
Yeah, and as you said, when I started, my volunteers said we don't want the badges with the stones. The stones representing the years that you
Right.
volunteered. So what we do at Aurora, and this will be our 15th anniversary doing it, is we pick a theme. We sort of keep it quiet from the volunteers, and we turn our conference room A and B, where a lot of things happen, into that theme. So in the past, we've done Wild Wild West Haven, and we've turned it into a Wild West theme where the staff dressed up, and we had the saloon, and we had all that fun stuff. We've done the State Fair. We've done Gilligan's Island, where our staff dressed up, and we turned that room, complete with a boat and sand, into Gilligan's Island. This year, if my volunteers aren't watching the show, we're doing something different based on The Wizard of Oz this year, and it's our 15th annual.
It's going to be so much fun.
And the thing for me that makes it the most fun is last year we had 23 paid caregivers attend the event to serve our volunteers. That, I think, was the biggest thing, is to have everyone from up in administration on down came in costume, because last year our theme was superheroes. And so we had Batman, Superman, Catwoman. It was crazy, but the volunteers appreciated the fact that the staff was there waiting on them.
And that's one of the things that has always impressed me, is that does happen at yours. Not all organizations do that. Some do a paid dinner out in the community. Some that were very small, like mine, they had to endure my cooking or whatever, and we did chicken soup for the caregiver's soul, which was a huge hit with ours. I did a lot because my volunteers didn't come to my office. They would pick the meals up off-site, and I was on the phone. So I usually did chocolates and face-to-face encounters with the volunteers during Volunteer Week and other times during the year, and just show up one day and surprise them, and I would have some little treat. But they always knew that they were appreciated, and the same goes for you. Mm-hmm. We can go back to our unsung hero from the March show, and Anne, when we surprised her, and I don't deserve this. Mm-hmm. I don't do that much. But most volunteers, at least in my experience, minimize the impact of what they do. You know, be it the knitting or the sitting with someone, the program at Bethel at Lutheran Homes of sitting with someone who is dying. Sojourners program, I think it's called. But the difference that it makes to the individual we're working with or their family, it's out there, it's tremendous.
And I think that's one reason that they made this Volunteer Recognition Week, which is April 15th through the 21st, is because as for us in the hospital, we have Doctors Week, we have Nurses Week, we have EVS Week, we have Rad Tech Week, and you want to cover all the bases, and volunteers deserve to have a week, which is the 15th through the 21st. I use it, we're smaller, we're an 85-bed hospital, so I use it as a chance for all of the volunteers to get together and see each other, and we have a appetizer hour, and we have a dinner, and we have entertainment, and we use it that way. But we're encouraging anyone from churches to schools to take the time to recognize your volunteers during National Volunteer Recognition Week, April 15th through the 21st. Doing what you do all year, but that week is just sort of special for them.
And every time someone volunteers for us, that we need to remember to say thank you. And just the pat on the back. We really appreciate what you're doing. You're doing a good job. Share the story of someone's life who's been impacted because you were there.
And also remember, another plug in here, people, for Red Cross and Community Blood Drive, blood donors are volunteers. So also remember, let's keep going, looking for those blood drives, because the need is always going to be there, and we really want to support our community where the blood does stay local in our community.
It does. And you can look at it this way. You're giving the gift of life. And when someone has been through some of the traumas or the surgeries or anything, that gift of blood can make the difference between life and death. And so if you are capable of giving blood, please do.
So this is a wonderful month. This is the month of April, a renewal month, a month of new beginnings. So go out there and donate blood. Go out there and thank your volunteers April 15th through 21st, but also do it all year round. And go out and volunteer. It really is a wonderful experience and a great thing to do. So thank you for being with us again for Helping Hands. I'm John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center.
And Judy Ritchie, Community Advocate. Thank you for being with us.